let's talk a bit about project management, this world of project management, and also how it impacts our society, what we have here, what we're doing here at the University of Sydney, and also what we have in store for you in a couple of weeks' time. So let me begin with this. Now, if you have been to the city, pre-lockdown times, you'll obviously see that George Street has changed a lot, right? So just in 2019, the new light rail, it was launched, and the whole of George Street has become more of, for the light rail, and it's very nice for the pedestrians to walk around and commute as well. But this project did come at a huge cost. The final price tag of this project, the light rail, was $2.96 billion, and this was more than $1.3 billion over its initial cost. So that's the blowout. And in the process as well, there was a lot of business communities and business owners who suffered the brunt of this project, so much so that they had to launch class action against the New South Wales government because of lost revenue and because of how their normal business operations were all disrupted. So it was not very cool. The RBA governor, in fact, cited this as a huge example of poor governance and poor oversight. Now, I'm talking about obviously infrastructure projects over here, but who knows what happened last week, or should I say this week? What happened? That's right, the iPhone 13, right? I can't keep track anymore of all these new versions of the mobile phones. But what I want to say is that projects, they are the lifeblood of organizations. So when you're delivering something like, like the new iPhone, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of resources that has to be coordinated, and also managing the budget, managing the time, managing the supply chain, talking to vendors, marketing, consumer testing, and so on and so forth. So in large organizations, particularly, projects have now become the lifeblood, right? And if you look at around the world today, there are heaps of building and construction projects on the right. That's not an earthquake that just happened. You can see it's called the Dancing Building. That's in Prague, in Czech Republic. On the left, you can see that's the water cube in Beijing, which was used to host the swimming events for the Beijing Olympics. And on the bottom left, that's not a spacecraft, it's actually a fashion show mall in Las Vegas. So pretty impressive, isn't it? But these all are possible because someone has decided to fund the project, because someone has decided to plan, coordinate, and do the budgeting and the resourcing and the scheduling for all these projects so that they can come to life. Now, in the words of the president of the Project Management Institute, he once said that project managers, they are dream makers because they make dreams come true. And this is rightly so. So when I spoke to a number of industry professionals and people from the corporate world, a lot of them tell me that they were accidental project managers, which means they did not plan to be a project manager, but they happened to be one. So for example, someone might have started as a structural engineer working for a large firm in civil engineering, and 2-3 years down the track, they started to read contracts, they started to talk to suppliers, negotiate with their clients, and suddenly they were mentoring the younger team leaders and so on. And so a lot of them were suddenly dealing with managerial, behavioral, and technical aspects of the job that they were not trained for, right? And so a lot of these companies here, some of them also serve on our advisory board. And the one thing that we got out of their talk was that there is the need for critical systems thinkers who get stuff done. And in the words of many of the accidental project managers, they say, we never received any training. Our training was always on the go and on the job. They would go out and do crash courses. And they just felt that they needed to upskill themselves because they outgrew their role, right? It was something that they did not learn at university. And in fact, if you look at what's happening in the project management profession as well, The Project Management Institute, which is the PMI, they release a pulse of the profession report every year. And in 2019, they made these headlines, right? Despite all the talk, project performance isn't getting any better. And this is absolutely echoed by someone like John Grill, who's a huge benefactor to the University of Sydney. And he has set his sights on improving the project profession here in Australia because of the number one, there's a lot of public infrastructure wastage. And also, it's such a sad thing that we still have to import a lot of project managers from overseas. So what we have decided is here at Sydney University, we want to remedy this sort of situation. The examples that I've shown you just now with Sydney Light Rail, the project blowout, there's still a number of stakeholders and residents who are really upset with what's happening with Western Sydney Airport, for example. And so here at Sydney University, we understand that there are few learned project managers out there. And so we want to bring the experience of not just these failures and challenges, but of project successes as well. And so we want to bring project management, that experience to the learning here at Sydney Uni, so that when our graduates go out, they can do much greater for the society at large, right? And project management is a really exciting profession. It's a very exciting, I'd say, an adventure in a way, right? Now, this was an article that was published in ABC News a couple of years ago in 2017, which is, I think it's so valid now. The headlines was, could a robot do your job, right? And if you go to that particular article, you'll see that they've outlined some of the professions where there's a high risk of automation, and tilers and painters and food preparation assistants. These are highly automatable, right? Because you can get robots and machinery to do your job. On the other hand, if you have a look at professions that involve complex thinking, involve knowledge intensive work, involve a lot of people to brainstorm together and debate and discuss and contemplate, then you'll find that here what you can see is program and project administrators, which is very much about project management. That's one of the least, in fact, it tops the list in terms of the lowest risk of being automated. So that's it says quite a bit. And this is why I believe that at Sydney Uni, we're onto something. And I believe that we can also remedy a lot of the situation with what's happening with project management in Australia. If you also look at this globally, right? According to the Project Management Institute Project Management Talent Gap Report. So talent gap refers to the supply and demand. So there's a need for project management work. There's a need for project management workers and employees, but there's a gap because you can't find that supply. There isn't enough supply. And this is across most industries of manufacturing, information publishing, finance, professional services, utilities, and you can see in the next 10 years, right, that percentage of change is going to go up by that amount. So there's a talent gap, and across the world, what you will see is that with the project management oriented employment, right, that's what PMOE stands for. You'll see that around the world, okay, around the world. There are a lot of openings. There's a lot of calls for really experienced project managers. Obviously, the highest number is in Asia, in China, in Asia Pacific, and also you can see in South Asia as well. And so that's really, really exciting. So here at the University of Sydney, we have this vision of developing critical systems thinkers who can get out there, get stuff done, and hopefully eliminate wastage of public infrastructure, public money, and so on. So at the University of Sydney, are courses in project management. They are accredited by the Project Management Institute and also endorsed by the Australian Institute for Project Management. In terms of research globally, our rank, so we're right there. So in terms of Australia, #1, we are actually #1 in the world. We're actually #12 in project management, but in Australia, we rank the highest, right? In fact, this was actually published in the Financial Review. And as Professor Julian Pollack says, now Julian is actually a colleague of mine. He says, one of the great things about teaching in a university is that we have access to the latest developments in the field, right? And you can incorporate that into a subject material. Now, I just came from class. I just finished my class, not just I was due to finish at 1 o'clock. And I was actually sharing the research that I've done in stakeholder engagement, and the stuff that I've shared with my class today, it's not available in textbooks as yet. So that's exactly what we do here at the University of Sydney. And so we have a number of pathways for anyone who's interested to study project management. And I'm hoping that by sharing with you all these cases, you have an understanding of what project management is by now. Project management is different from management. So it's different from, say, running a company where there's business as usual. There's the normal suppliers, there's the normal customers, and you just do the, do the thing day in, day out. With projects, they're unique. So an Olympics is a massive project. The Sydney 2000 Olympics is a massive project. You might engage in a project where you want to change the systems around the university, say the timetabling system. That's a project as well. So every project leaves you with a very unique experience, and it's fairly rewarding as well if you've actually ran it right. It's very rewarding as well, even if you stuff up, because there's a lot of learning, right? So if you want to learn a bit about project management at the University of Sydney, there are 4 key pathways. #1, you can do a Bachelor of Project Management with a major only, and you have to do a major. The guaranteed ATAR requirement is 86 in terms of, you can also do a minor together with your major. That's optional though. Or you can do a combined degree where it's like you do 5 years together, an engineering degree with a project management degree, and there's an ATAR of guaranteed ATAR 92. Or you can also do a Bachelor of Advanced Studies with a Bachelor of Project Management degree. Now, if you're interested to do a bit of project management, but you're not quite interested in doing a whole degree, and your passion might be, let's say, in science, perhaps in biology or chemistry, but you still want to do a bit of project management, well, you can. So in your Bachelor of Science degree, you can choose to do a major in project management. Or let's say you're doing a Bachelor of Commerce degree, you can choose to do a major in project management as well. So you can still tap into project management in those pathways there. Let's have a look at the first one, right? I'll show you the first one, and I'll show you the third one, and just to show you the kind of subjects you'll be studying here. So let's talk about the BPM with major only, right? So this is the kind of list of subjects you'll be studying if you're doing a 3-year degree of BPM. You'll see that the first years are fairly technical. So you'll be doing things like initiation and scope, project time, cost, and resources, a bit on facilitation and stakeholder engagement. And that's actually the class I just taught, by the way. And when you move on to your second and your third years, you're doing subjects that are of a higher level. So you can see there's a combination of both technical aspects as well as behavioral aspects like communication, stakeholder engagement. There's also conflict management, and there's also legal aspects as well, right? Now, the majors that you can do fit into these slots over here. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 8 subjects constitute a major, okay? And you can do a major in almost any area that you like. We've got more than 100 areas. Notice that you've got 2 elective spots as well. which means you can choose to study whatever project management unit you like. And I'll show you a listing of that as well. So in terms of majors, number one, have a look at this. You could choose from a shared pool, which has got over 100 plus major. Most popular ones are construction and built environment. Construction is more about civil engineering and construction design, surveying, and things like that. Whereas built environment is more about planning, townscape, streetscape, buildings management, and things like that, right? If you have a look at the shared pool, now, if you're interested in, let's say, film studies, right, which is available somewhere in arts and social sciences, I think, so it's right there. Or if you're interested in, let's say, in computer science, you're interested in information systems, you can do a BPM degree and major in any of these areas. Now, this is just a sample. Like I said, there are over 100 majors that we have, okay? I'll show you a sample of what a construction major is like, and it looks like this. So there are 8 subjects here altogether, as I said, that comprise a major. And you've got civil engineering, construction and surveying, project appraisal, engineering design and construction. And in your 3rd and final year, you do what we call a capstone project. You don't have any typical traditional lectures and tutes over here, but you actually basically just run a project with an industry partner for 2 semesters long. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you want to do a combined degree in engineering and project management, you can do it. Like if you say choose civil engineering, you can combine, and that's a 5-year degree, by the way. So I've shown you years 1 to 4. So it's half civil engineering, half project management, and you can finish that in 5 years' time. Okay, so you can definitely do that sort of combination. I'll quickly show you some of the statistics as well in terms of what a project profession, what do project professionals earn. And this is a report which is called PMI Salary Survey 2020 was published in, and they surveyed the entire world, project managers and project professionals, what they earn. In Australia, the mean earning is nearly 150K, right? And with compensation, bonuses, and things like that, it's 157K. Moving on, you can see there are different industries as well. Now, this is a publicly available document, so you can actually Google it and download it and read it for yourself. But you can see in engineering, so engineering project managers, they earn about 160K right there. Anyone doing construction, about 137. If you're interested in IT, that's sitting at about 141. And in telecommunications, you're about 150 right there. Now, if you want to actually know more about this in real Australian dollars, there's actually, again, in ABC News, there's a really nice search function where you can, so this is an article that's, again, publicly available. You can actually type in things like project manager there, and it'll show you the reported taxable income for the financial year 2018-2019. And you can see, for example, construction project manager, in total, the average salary is about 115K. There's the gender split as well. And with computing, the total average salary reported was 126K. So that's quite interesting. Where do our graduates go? Our graduates go to all sorts of places. Just because they do project management doesn't mean that they're only stuck in the construction industry. They're in consulting, they're in events-based management organizations, they're in financial sectors. So they're really everywhere. This is actually an outdated list because I just can't keep up with our graduates and where they're working. So they're all on LinkedIn with me. Now, I'll leave you with this. Dear students, now in about 2 weeks' time, we're going to be having what we call project management spring camp. And we use the word camp, but we're not really asking you to bring your tents and sleep over or things like that. But what we're going to do is on the 1st of October, we're going to be running a whole day session, providing you with more information, giving you a glimpse of what it's like to study project management at Sydney University, and also bringing in guest speakers from the industry, people who've been doing project management for 3-4 decades and sharing their experience. We'll invite people from the university, our own students, to share with you why they decided project management, how it's been. And it's your chance to ask a lot of questions to them as well. And I'm the director for the undergraduate program at the School of Project Management. So it'd be great if I can see you there. There is a link that allows you to RSVP. And I might also just copy that link as well, maybe pop that in the chat so that you can all, grab it. Please apply for it. It's all going to be held online because of the lockdowns that are in place at the moment. And the idea is that the application will close on the 24th so that we can run it on the 1st of October. So it's a one-day camp, all online from 9 to 3. And yeah, well, we hope to see you there. I'll just probably end there. And oh yes, the other thing is we've also got scholarships and so on if you ever want to do project management here at the University of Sydney. So just do a Google search on scholarships in engineering faculty at Sydney Uni. And of course, if you've got any further questions, our student coordinator, Maya, will be there to field all questions, project.management@sydney.edu.au. So I'll just stop sharing there. I might post the link to the camp just in the chat. Hopefully it works. And there it is. Now I'm open to any questions that you guys might have. I try to keep it to 15 minutes, but I think I spoke for 5 minutes over. So if you have any questions about what I've said, questions about the career path, what you need to do now so you can join Sydney University, anything that's popped up, feel free to ask now. So are there any questions? I'm hoping you guys can unmute your mic. Hopefully we haven't disabled it or anything. So if you want to put it in the chat as well, that's fine. Otherwise, please do unmute your mic.
Sorry, the mics have been disabled, but you can type your questions into the chat if anyone has a question.
Yeah, I've got one. The question is, what subjects will help if we are going to learn project management in university? Okay, great question. So because we're in the engineering faculty, there's a requisition for you to do your, I think you call it your 2-unit math, so that you can actually get into the faculty. But in terms of actually studying project management, you can see in the subjects that I've shown you, we do not require that you, we don't actually have any math subjects, beyond high school. And there might be a bit of logical and mathematical sort of thinking when you do things like project analytics. There might be aspects on statistics as well. But majority will require more of your ability to communicate, write, and so obviously you need good English and critical thinking skills. So Johnny, hopefully that answers your question. If there are any more questions, please feel free to pop that in the chat.
If anyone doesn't have any more questions, then I guess we might wrap it up. Otherwise,
I just have one.
Oh, there we go. Here we go.
Oh, there's a private question that's been asked to me directly. Could you tell us more about paths to being an accidental PM? I don't want to tell you how to be an accidental PM. I want to tell you how to be an actual PM, brother. But if you want to end up doing project management sometime later, maybe you're thinking, look, I'm really interested in civil engineering. That's what I want to do. Or I'm interested in aeronautical engineering, and that's what I want to do. I don't care about PM now. Well, that's fine. You can do it. But you'll find that in graduate roles, for example, you'll be doing, yes, technical stuff. But as you grow, you might outgrow your role. And if you don't have a passion for, let's say, There are people who they're just happy doing structural analysis for the firms. And there are people who are just happy doing that, or they're happy doing coding by themselves, and they don't want to be a team leader or a manager in the end, then that's fine. But if you do find yourself outgrowing your role, then there's always the master's pathway that you can take. So there's the master's in project management that you can come back here at Sydney University and study. And so that will hopefully help you during that time. And that should give you qualifications in project management at a postgraduate level. Okay, so Sue, hopefully that answers your question. Now I've got Shushruth who's asked a question: if you do a double degree with aeronautical, will industry projects in project management be linked with the professional placement in the aerospace degree, or will they be separated? Very good question. Now, Shushruth, actually, when you do a combined degree, then your parent degree will be in the engineering school. Okay, so they will be looking after you in terms of administration and so on. So in this case, if you're doing aeronautical engineering, then you'll have a degree advisor in aeronautical engineering. But to answer your question, every engineering degree requires in your 4th year or your 5th year to do what they call a thesis. So it's an honors thesis, which is for 1 year. And that thesis can be very much project-based. Potentially, you could be linked with people from the industry. Many times you will be linked with an academic staff from the university working on perhaps a research problem. And so in that sense, you will be gaining those experience that you need, okay? In terms of your placement and your experience with, the aerospace industry, that will be something that can be looked at by your aeronautical engineering school and the degree advisor. The capstone projects are only for single Bachelor of Project Management degree students. So if you're doing a single BPM, then you'll be doing those capstone projects at the end of your degree. Now, having said that, in the School of Project Management, we do have a placement program. So even if you're doing a combined degree, so you're doing aeronautical with BPM, as part of the BPM subjects you have to study, there are 2 or 3 spaces where you can choose project management electives. And one of the electives that you can choose is what we call a project placement. So that subject will put you with an industry partner. And we can't guarantee that because you're in civil engineering, we'll put you with a civil engineering firm. But ideally, we can work with you if you have potential prospects, potential employers you want to bring in. We can work with that. But in most cases for us, we've been able to place students that align with the degree. So people doing construction major, working with construction companies, people in the built environment, working with someone from fit outs and things like that, okay? So hopefully, Shushruth, that answers your question as well. And I do thank all of you for asking those great questions.